Good morning and welcome to Front Porch Friday on the Farm2Table Show Morning Edition, where coffee's hot, conversation's real, and everyone's got a seat at the table. So whether you're tuning in from your homestead or just dreaming of one, this is your place to share, listen, and connect. Let's gather around and see where the conversation takes us today. Good morning, everybody, especially morning crew. Joy Bartlett, see you in this morning. First one in this morning, and bro, Keith, good to see you. Yeah, there's Robbie, Wild Huckleberry's in. Good morning, Teresa Jukowitz, glad to see you in this morning. Hey, there's Ed Kirkpatrick, morning, brother, how you doing? I tell you what, it's thing about Friday, it's a funny thing. We're doing this thing again where it's basically open conversation and open chat. And let me see if I can do something right quick. Let's see. Where am I at? Is it? No, it's not too late. Oh, invite guest. Okay. Oh, copy. I'm setting up something I should already had done. All right. Right there, and I want to pin it. Oh, Keith, up there. Let's see. I want to pin that right to the top there. There's the pin. There's the link. If you've got the ability to live stream, if you do lives and stuff, you got the ability to live stream, and you want to join on panel. I should have put this. Should have put it horizontal, but I didn't. So, well, we've seen it. Good morning, Barb Taylor. Good morning, Rebecca Touch Bayard. And let's see. Hey, good morning, Terry. Good to see you all guys up there. But anyway, all right. Everybody's jumping in this morning. Well, I tell you what, a week. Surprised that I'm up talking to any of y'all. It was right about midnight when I pulled in the house last night from a long day at work. We had lots of difficulties yesterday, so it turned into a very long day. Fortunately, thing is I don't have to be in until later today, but that equals another late night. But anyway, as the old saying goes, the show must go on, and got myself about 5.5 hours of shut eye so I could get up and join y'all this morning. So if I'm not on my A game, well, that's probably why. But anyway, we got through it yesterday, and luckily didn't have to go back after another load, which would have put it. Yeah, it would have been crazy. Anyway, life in the job that I have, driving a truck, and I work in the commercial poultry industry, and those chickens gotta move. So it is what it is. But anyway, the link is up there. Let's see it up there. Let's see, I pinned it up there at the top for if anybody feels free, want to jump on panel. If not, we'll sit here and we'll do it this way. I like the chat. I like reading it. But I'll tell you what, I want to start off. This week was a week about stewardship. We talked about stewarding different things throughout the week this week, and yesterday was family, and we talked about composting, and we talked about a few other things. My brain's slipping this morning, remembering the 4 topics of the week. But anyway, feel free to leave feedback. I mean, y'all show up every day, so that's pretty good feedback. But anyway, yep. There we go. Let me see who's got there. Let's see. All right. Hey, good morning, Terry. Welcome in. It's Terry from TNT Homestead. Hey, good morning, Scotty. There he is.
Morning. How's it going?
Man, doing all right yourself?
Doing okay.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, there we go. Started saying you don't have a lot of room up there to pick a room, do you?
No, I don't.
But anyway, so y'all use I think we've talked about this before. Y'all use Starlink or do y'all use something else?
I had Starlink. I had some problems with Starlink for a while. I don't know if it was the router or the cabling or the dish. And when I didn't have access, I had their support was lacking. I'm
Right.
currently on AT&T streaming. I'm ready to go back to Starlink, but I got to get rid of some more trees to get Starlink. You need a pretty good open space to the sky.
Right. Well, be careful with that. I know you had the chainsaw incident
Right,
recently. So
right.
how's well, I think you said you was it yesterday you went and got the stitches out or
I'm
today?
going today. So
Today.
here in about an hour, I'll be heading out to go up to the Tulsa area.
Okay. All right. But well, I guess y'all survived the rains and the weather okay up there this last week.
Oh, yeah, it's lots and lots of rain.
Yeah.
Just everything soggy.
Oh yeah, same thing here. It's my pond's at the highest level I've seen it since we've owned the property. So, which is good for the pond, but the fish and everything in it. But which
Yeah,
I haven't.
we've
Yeah.
been listening to the roar of the Illinois River just coming out of the 10 killer dam there, and it's just, you know, we're
Right.
about we're about a mile from the bottom of the dam itself, and you can just
Right.
hear it coming out.
Oh yeah, yeah. I've been down in that area fishing, and yeah, it's quite a bit. Keith asked what the speeds on Starlink are up there. Uh,
Beads were good. They were slower than my DSL I had when I lived in the Tulsa area,
right.
um, but they were a lot faster than cellular.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, there you go. That's kind of one of those things. We always look at, of course. I mean, you do, you're streaming and upload, doing things. So yeah, we uh, upload speed's always the big question.
A lot better than cellular.
Yeah. Robbie with Wild Huckleberries, let's see, pull that up. He said they struggled with Starlink at one point. Turned out to be the dish. Got a new one, and they've been happy. So yeah.
I really liked it. I wasn't sure I would. And I was sad I started having problems. So I'm tired of streaming through cellular, though.
Right. Oh, yeah. Keith and I, when we first started, man, it was terrible. He'd be up. We do everything over at his house and in his studio, and he'd have to go to the library or somewhere else because it would take days to get things to. I mean, retry, up all night trying to get it to load. And they brought fiber into where he lived, and now I've got fiber here, and it's like, oh man.
It's
Good
a
morning,
game
Janet
changer.
Niece. Yeah, it is, and I mean, it's like it's weird. There's a certain time of morning, and it's scary because sometimes it's this time of morning where it's like the speeds will drop for just a little while, and it's like everything on my computer just like goes into turtle mode. It's like what's going on? Yeah, but so yeah, and the storms, like we were having storms the other night. I couldn't print from the computer; it wasn't wanting to communicate with the computer. Wasn't wanting to do it, so I had to do it from my cell phone. But yeah, Keith said spoiled on fiber now. So
Yeah, we got fiber I'd ordered Starlink because we only had DSL, and
right,
Starlink was a lot faster. So I ordered it, and then they got fiber, but I was on a waiting list I'd already ordered Starlink, and then fiber came in the neighborhood, but then we moved, but then I couldn't easily move the dish because this
right.
area was full. But
Well,
anyway,
well, there you go. Well, what? I'm sure you've been having to take it a little easy, but what's new on the homestead?
sitting around with my leg propped up for the most part.
Uh,
Basically, what started it all, we were expanding our chicken run. We have an enclosed chicken run to let our
okay,
chickens roam a little bit because of so many predators. We can't let them free range unless we're outside with them.
right.
But
I'm gonna have to take
yeah,
note of that because I've got that's where I live as national forest and everything else, and so hey, we're gonna bring Bro in all the way from the Philippines. Come on in, Bro. There you go. But there's Keith. There, you're with
thank
us.
you.
We can see you.
Yeah, I'm with you.
All right,
Y'all,
good deal.
y'all got to start talking about fiber and that sort of thing. And I lucked out and got fiber here in the Philippines, and it was available at my home. And they came in the very next day after the application, and they got it done. And I opted for 400 up and down. I could have got a gig, um, but that 400 I thought was enough, and I'm paying about $30 a month for that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
When
and I just wanted to get on for a minute to kind of test it out, take the old girl around the block and see how well it does.
Yeah, well, looks like it's doing okay. I mean,
Good,
so
good. I like
anyway,
it.
yeah.
Yeah,
I have,
yeah, when my son moved out and got an apartment, I told him to get the slowest one first and see how it works. And if he needs to bump it, he can, but it would help with his dollars,
right.
you know,
Mhm.
Oh,
because it
yeah.
was going to be an increase from what we had anyway. So,
Right. Well, I know for me, it's definitely been just marvelous. Which my router's 5, 6 feet away from me right now, and I've got a hard line to the computer on it. But so I get all of it. I don't have to compete because everything else in the house is Wi-Fi. So and so to not have to compete against the Wi-Fi. But anyway, um, well, Terry, what I mean, besides getting healed up, what's the plans? You got any plans going forward this summer? Projects or
projects, we just got the water catchment in. So that's done. We've got a little over 1,000 gallons we're collecting now between different tanks.
okay,
I got to re-roof the bedroom cabin. That's on tap for this year, and get a new wood stove before next year for that. So
okay,
just a few things this year. And if we can get some of these projects done, we'll start clearing space for the house we plan to build here instead of these 2 little cabins.
all right. Well, that'll be another large project underway.
Lots of
But
tree felling is part 1 because we're just in the woods.
right. Oh
So
yeah.
what kind
Go
of
ahead,
structure
bro.
are y'all going to do with that, Terry?
I'm sorry, what?
What kind of structure are y'all going to build?
Not sure yet. We'll probably do a raised floor, not a slab, just
Yeah.
for the rocks and everything. And we want a small enough house. We want a big enough house, but not too big. 2, 3 bedrooms maybe. We don't want anything. Basically, if we can do it out of pocket, that's better because we don't have a house payment.
Well, hey, nothing wrong with not having a house payment. Uh, but
Hey,
nothing wrong.
bro, I just want
Yeah.
to point out that we actually, first time I've seen it, but we just got a comment over on Rumble,
Oh,
and
okay.
Rumble's been, mostly dead. YouTube is kind of, and Facebook has been our primary. Of
Oh,
course, I do want to mention that we are on X and we're also on Rumble.
right.
But somebody was asking American or
Oh, bro, that's me. That's me.
that's you.
Because yeah, I'm just joking. It asks favorite team in football, and so I ask American or question mark. Yeah,
Okay. All
but
right. Gee
because
whiz.
American football versus what everybody else calls football is two different conversations. But anyway, little sports, I don't mind it. But anyway, if they answer back, I don't know. But anyway, uh, so anyway, but yeah, well, speaking of that, I mean, this week, I mean, like I said, we talked about a lot about stewardship. We were talking about composting. Now, Terry, you've made some comments that y'all have done, had a pretty big operation, and now are working on building back. Uh,
Yeah, we had a good 3 bin system going before, where all of our house food waste pretty much went into the compost bin. All the garden waste went to the compost bin. All the chicken litter went to the compost bin. And then we had it in a 3-tiered system. That way it was like, okay, you let it sit for a year and then you use it the 3rd year, and then we could rotate them. And doing that here, or
right.
trying to restart it here.
Oh, okay. But
So
okay, so
what kind of bins were you using, Terry?
We had used hardware cloth as the sides, and just treated 2x4s for the frame. Here we're using pallets. We've got three pallets on, to make a bin. And then we got to put some sort of fencing on the front to keep the chickens out, because they like to go, oh, look, something for us to play in.
All right.
yeah, they'll go scratch that in a heartbeat.
But we're on
Well,
our first bin for our compost pile, and we're on our second bin for our human manure pile. So
Okay. Well, how, and I'll ask, because I mean, a lot of people, either have never heard of it or think, what? Well, break down human manure for us and kind of how that works.
Basically, we have composting toilets, so
Right.
we don't have flush toilets. So we had to take. We actually have. Well, we have three. We have a normal outhouse. We
Right.
have a 5-gallon bucket with a toilet seat that my wife keeps in the bedroom, and then we have a composting toilet from one of the big name composting toilet places. I can't remember, but you
Right.
have to empty them about every week or two,
Oh,
and you know.
yeah, it is business. But
Everything poops. We just have gotten used to, especially here in America, you hit flush and you don't look at it ever again.
right, exactly. And I know there were people, who the idea of a toilet inside the house is like almost offensive. You know, is they don't want it in the same place, and I get that. What do you do with it? I mean, you compost. I mean, you put it overnight. I don't remember. What do you do with it? I guess.
After you can use it, this is where it gets into all things internet.
Right. I got you.
You can use it in your normal vegetable garden. You can
Okay.
definitely use it around flower beds, stuff like that, after 3 years.
Okay.
It needs at least 3 years from what they say. You can use it in just about everything. I don't know if I could use it on root crops. I think you
Right.
can after 3 or 4 years. But anything that's got to go, it's being broke down. The worms are in it. It's all being broke down just like everything else.
Okay.
But we're using it for flowers and trees and stuff like that. But
Non-edible. Yeah. And
at the moment, we're using it as non-edible. We'll do some more research before we really start using it on edible. It's
I
supposed to be
got you.
just fine, but that's like all things internet. Some people will
Right.
say you can, some people say you can't. So it's
I should say, I think for most, it's probably just a mental idea.
I think you're right.
Because I
Yeah,
know,
that'd be a tough sell on my wife, I'm pretty sure.
right. Well, yeah, impossible on mine. I mean, not even playing, but,
Well,
you
just
know,
moving off grid's been that way. My wife says that she loves it, but it's not for everyone.
well, I think that's it. We our late mother. We asked. We're having conversations with her about the way she grew up. They didn't have electricity in her home. She was 18 when she joined the Women's Army Corps and took off. But her aunt and uncle and other family had it, but they didn't have it where they lived. And it was the same thing. I mean, it was all out having a rough living, if you will. And we asked her about and her answer was like, she said, "Well, I grew up that way, and I know I can, but I won't voluntarily."
And
Yes.
now some people are doing it voluntarily, right, Terry?
That's right.
Well, I mean, like I said, that day there at New Beginnings, when I asked how many were off grid, I was not expecting three hands in the air. It's usually
I
more.
wasn't either. I've always been the only person. I've had lots of, that's how I got talking at some of these, is because I'm the only person a lot of people have known that live off grid.
Right.
And
Oh,
when
yeah.
those hands went up, I'm like, who else? I want to talk to them.
Right. No kidding. But I mean, because it's a thing, and it's like, and I think more rarely, not only the ones becoming off grid, I think it's becoming more, but the people who will talk about it and teach about it and, and share the lessons are maybe even fewer, so, but, excuse me, didn't bring a drink with me in here this morning, so I have to clear it out that way. But, yeah, that's, it's a different level of commitment, and I mean, so, which we've talked to Lorraine Sheehock and her, before about it, and her and Chris and the way they live, and, and, I don't know. And the funny thing is, and not saying you're old, but it ain't young. We're not seeing young people doing this. It's the older generation.
I was talking to someone the other day. I don't even remember who or where. Oh, some neighbors, kids of someone that has property next to us. Don't want to say lives, but they have property nearby. And they're like, oh, we want to do it, but we've got kids. And I'm like, do it now. Do it. The kids will love it, if depending on their ages. If they're already teenagers, you might have a hard sell, but the kids will love it. And it's some hard work.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I think it kind of like I said, we spent this week talking about stewardship, and I think that somebody who chooses to live the off-grid lifestyle probably has a higher degree of it, that they have to, stewardship with the water, stewardship with the power, because it's you're running off solar, so the batteries and the charge of what you put on it and what you do and don't do.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's been a big deal. I mean, I know y'all talked about stewardship and at that conference
right.
there, and um, it's really a lot about that growing food. I mean, we've had to clear space to even grow food because we're in the woods. I really sort of wish when we had I'd bought some with a little land or
Right.
a field, open sky.
Mhm.
Right. Wow. That's yeah, I guess I could see where that's at. I mean, I was here. I mean, when I say cleared, I mean, the bulk of which I've only got a little over 4 acres, but the bulk of it was cleared out because they had home sites. So, I mean, they had, but, and which was good for me because we probably live, we're not quite horizontally straight across from each other on the map, but it's rugged up here. And there's a joke up in this end of the county, on the north end of the county, that if you find a flat piece of land, somebody made it that way, basically. Because it's all hills. And so when I found a piece of land on top of a hill, or on a plateau part of the hill, but anyway, and it was mostly flat. It's like, what? So it was, and it had been cleared. But I've got, of course, like I said, national forest in front and private wooded acres behind me. So it's, I'm surrounded by it. But the having that, but even that had been let go. And so I had to have one of my son in law's dad, he came in with his big 70 horse Kubota and 8-foot brush hog and had to clear it down because you couldn't even see over the hood of your vehicle driving around. I didn't even know where the pond was. I mean, it was like, and, but yeah, I could have out where you're at. That's a whole different level of wooded living.
Right. Well, you were just here at the 10 killer area, and I mean, we're right here in this area. So
Right,
um, we're just like it's the Ozark foothills, really. We're just right, barely getting into the Ozarks. And
right. Yeah, that's as what people tell me. I was like, I'm in the southern, southern end of the Ozarks, and I forget, how much elevation it is until I um, drive down because I work down in Fort Smith, and so when I drive off, and it's like, and come back up, and it's like, man, the elevation change and the temperature difference, and everything changes. But so do y'all heat all by firewood, or do y'all what?
mainly, we got a mini split in both buildings. We just added one to the bedroom this year. That one's Wi-Fi. So if we're traveling on the way home late at night, there's nothing like coming home and it's 40 degrees in the bedroom. You can't really go to sleep there. So when I got a chance to get one that had the built-in Wi-Fi, we went ahead and got that one. So as we're driving home, about 30 minutes out, we can go ahead and turn it on.
Oh,
Um,
there you go.
but just to knock some of the chill off. But yeah, we heat with wood primarily. And then this time of year, I might turn on the heater on the mini split for 30 minutes or an hour just to knock off the chill.
Right. Yeah. So say that. I remember the wood. Our grandmother had wood burning. It was all by wood, and yeah, whoever had the job of getting up in the morning to get the fire going was the. There you
That's
go.
me.
But anyway, so that is awesome. But I thought it's cool. But it's the way y'all have embraced that. So you're, if I understand correctly, you're coming to Rendezvous in September. So
I am. That's finally official. I wasn't saying a whole lot about it until, I saw my picture up on the Facebook page, but yeah, we're coming to Rendezvous in September to talk about solar power.
good deal. Awesome. That'll be. So I say, I'm sure you and Chris and Dodge could have some pretty good off-grid conversations.
Oh, yeah.
We probably just off grid, just
Yeah,
talk.
yeah, uh, they're on the beginning end. They're. I always say that's off-grid extreme, where they're. I mean, they are up there. definitely out there in the in the boonies.
Yeah, I just seen a video of Chris to where she was just ecstatic to get a clothesline recently.
Yeah.
I did a clothesline between our solar panel, our 4x4s for our solar panels. I put a clothesline there for laundry.
Hey, there you go. That's a
We're doing that over here in the fields. I was a little bit surprised because not that expensive. We can take it up to a little laundry mat up here, and they'll do everything for you and have it folded, and you just pick it up when they're ready to go. And she said, "Why should I do that? I'll save a little money. I'll wash them by hand." She's been out there washing them by hand. She needed a little bit of help hanging them up because what we have to hang them up on is a little bit high. It's meant for plants above your head. But anyway, yeah. So I see it all around, and I mean the house is all around me. That's just the everyday thing here. Everybody's got a place to hang their clothes out here. And the other thing that's kind of a challenge for me here in the Philippines is, I'm trying to bring my homesteading ways to the Philippines, and trying to live that lifestyle here as much as I can make it happen. And one of the things that's a challenge for me is I want to find not just eggs. I just want to find some that are just locally produced eggs by chickens in somebody's backyard. And I've got roosters, I've got chickens all around me. I mean, bro, because we've
oh,
been on the phone and you can
I
hear
love
roosters
it.
in the background. I love hearing it.
I love
Some
it.
of the expats over here, they complain about it, but I'm thinking, dude, I love hearing the roosters first thing in the morning. Not so crazy about it about 2:30 in the morning, but all of this, the people that I've talked to that's got chickens around here, and I said, well, do y'all use them for eating eggs? No, no, they do them for breeding and doing fighting roosters only.
Ah,
And so I'm surrounded by them. I mean, I had chickens walking right in the front of my yard out there here about 3 or 4 days ago. Just walked right across and everything, and I'm thinking, you guys got to be laying some eggs somewhere.
yeah, we're
But
gonna have to recon mission find the eggs.
yeah, it's been a little bit.
Yeah. But well, I will say to Chad, anybody, the people that are still hanging over Chad, if y'all got a question for Terry about off grid right now, it's the time to jump in and grab that. We're kind of going to go a little bit of overtime maybe, but since it's Friday and I'm not having to bust out the door. But David Lacey put up here, said they're probably a different kind of chicken as well. Uh, you know,
I wouldn't doubt that, David. I wouldn't doubt it. I still got to, just do some looking around, but it's just not a way of life here,
right?
at least in the urban areas to where we live.
Yeah. And by the way, good morning, David. Glad to see you with
Good
us,
morning,
bud.
David.
But probably should still. Yeah, there you go. Probably still should lay eggs. Yeah, somewhere. Yeah, that's
Somewhere,
Probably,
exactly.
somewhere.
they're probably incubating them, is what
Right.
I'm thinking. But
Well, if well, and they may even be trying to sex them and everything, depending on whether if they're going for the roosters and trying to get raise that up. So that may be a different thing there. I don't know. Depending on how high tech they're getting on the operation there, I guess. But anyway,
I don't
so
know. Everything's kind of low tech around here, which is kind of refreshing in some ways because they don't need power tools. They don't even need a level. They've got and you guys may have seen this before, but they'll take a long length of see-through hose and they'll put water in it.
water leveling. Yeah.
They want to get a level, they'll stick it where they want that level to be, and then they'll go across that span wherever it is, and wherever that water line is, that's where it's level.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
I've learned a
uh,
thing or two watching these guys.
mobile home installers still
Yeah,
use the water level.
is that right? I
Yeah.
didn't know.
Yeah. Because it's well, I mean, it's really the only way they can get enough length, because I mean, you're talking 80 foot, 60 foot, 80
Yeah,
foot,
right.
and yeah, when that brief little foray into that line of work a few years ago, And then, of course, having the one installed here on the property, I got to watch them do it as well. But yeah, they use water level.
Well, when we got here, they had it took me a while to figure out what it was, but it's a string leveler. The level was just this big, but it hangs on a string, and you can do the same thing. You just got to get that string tight, but you can put that for as long as you want and then put that little level on that string.
Yep. Yeah.
I've seen that.
I think I've got one laying in one of my one of my boxes somewhere. I've used it, but and for especially the longer spans, it's super handy. But because I've got a 4 foot level, so if it's over bigger than 4 feet, and even then I rarely use it. I'm a big fan of the torpedo level. That's my favorite.
I got a laser leveler when we were adding the porch between these two buildings this last fall, and though it didn't work too great in the sunlight. I had problems seeing it at a distance, but it worked pretty good. So
good. I've never tried one. I did get one of the a good stud finder when I started on this renovation, because I was like, man, I don't know where the studs are at in this house. I gotta find them. So and it's been a worthwhile investment. So it's.
So I've got a question for Terry back on the composting thing.
Yeah.
The model that I'm using is in a plastic garbage bin, and what I've seen online to do, and you can, if you've had any experience with using plastic bins at all on the composting issue, is they're showing to cut holes in the bottom of it and then put it straight into the earth. In other words, dig just a little bit of a circle there and put it kind of down into the earth, and then you've got what they call the green and the brown, which I'm sure you're familiar with. And you put the green inside the main one, and then you got the brown to where you've gathered up old leaves, and we got leaves that fall down here every day, big ones. And so I just been wadding those up, tearing up old cardboard and whatever, and sticking it in the brown one. But it's the aeration, and bro, I think you talked about this on the show the other day.
Yeah.
That you had to have the proper moisture and the proper aeration, and then you had to have the proper mix of green versus brown. And what can you say about that, Terry? Is it more brown than green all the time? And, putting in, leaves, cuttings, that sort of thing.
I think they have like formulas. I'm not a formula type person. I'm a throw in what I've got and do the best. I think really the best thing is the aeration, which I do a really bad job of. I tend to be a toss it in and turn it when I add, and then I sort of forget about it in between. And I've not heard of what you were talking about with putting it in the ground. I've seen them take the big barrels, like your big blue barrels or black barrels, and put them on stands. You put the stuff in and you roll it. And you just that stirs it for you. And I've seen those, but I've not seen what you were talking about with it sort of being partially in the ground. And that seems interesting.
So we've got a pretty strictly designed area that we've got, and everything's in concrete. So I mean, we've got raised beds, I guess is what you say, in concrete casing, and then you've got the soil and everything in it, and we've got plants of food that we like to eat in everyday meals that's planted along the side of those walls, and right down at the end of it is where I'm going to put the plastic trash cans, is what they are. They're pretty tall. They're fairly tall. Right. And then the holes that are at the bottom of them, they're probably about 2-inch holes, is supposed to encourage worms to come up inside of that particular area. And I know we've got worms because, I found one the other day and threw it into my compost and to try to get that going. I wasn't really super sure about how much brown to put in every time I put in some green,
I don't know those formulas. I've seen them, but I don't know them, what it is.
But you've had good luck. You've had good luck with just kind of feeling it out and seeing what you think it needs and throwing it in there, huh?
Correct.
Yeah, it's like, you clean up your garden, you throw it in there. You got your household food waste, you toss it in there. I would, your leaves, your whatever, you toss it in there. And that's what I would do whenever I would mow my grandparents' yard back in the day. I would bring home, they always bagged it. So I would bring home the bag of green clippings and toss it in there, and I'd put 2 or 3 trash bags of clippings in the bag and just leave it there. And then later I'd something else added to it and something like that.
We'll take a minute. That's what I say, bro already pulled that up. I wanted to say good morning to Chris Thompson and good morning Chelsea Dickinson and E&D Livestock. Glad to have you guys in with us. We're doing a little overtime this morning, and if you hadn't figured out, it's Front Porch Friday, and we're hanging out with Terry from T&T Homestead, and new friend that we met a few months, short few weeks ago, but seems like months as I've been so busy. But anyway, Robbie with the Wild Huckleberry said we have solar panels, but we need to get batteries. Right now we store it with the electric company, and their bill is $27 a month, which is what they charge to have the service. So
well, that's a nice bill. I'll tell you. I haven't seen $27 a month.
But so, Robbie, I'll ask, what's the pay? Did y'all do it where? Do y'all have a payment to the solar for buying that, or did y'all build out and so $27 is it? I'll ask that question because I'm curious because we do we have the net metering offered up here where I live as well, and so.
Well, we're waiting on that. My sister-in-law, brother-in-law, they have a place. They're in Colorado, and Colorado's a little different, but they have solar panels. But all their electric goes to the electric company, and then they just get their electric back from the electric company. But there's no storage there at all. So if the power goes out, even though they've got solar panels, they have no power.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that kind of. Other than maybe saving on a monthly, deal. I can understand that, desire to save the income. I'm not, picking on that, but I know quite a few of the companies that advertise in this area because I get our ads on Facebook all the time. That's one of the things is that it comes with the battery backup. So our friend there you go, Keith. Thank you. So that'd be phenomenal. Our house electric's almost $450 a month, and the farm is a separate account. Oh,
ugh.
Yeah. That's painful.
You got expensive electric, bad insulation, or
just he's got Tuck up there running around.
oh yeah, how's little Tuck, man?
Yeah. He went through a little spell of under weather here recently, but I imagine is Tuck still tucked in bed, sawing logs, or have you got him up yet? But we to catch everybody up, Terry. We couple of Okie Homestead Expos ago. They came over to the set, and we had them and Tuck on the show and hung out, and he was just awesome little guy. Once you got him talking, he's a superstar. But anyway, Robbie, let's see. We're paying for the solar now. It does make up for the cheap bill. It's over $100 per month, and we don't have power with the power out because we don't have the batteries. But Chris, our rates went up 13%. Wow, he's up but not happy about it. Yeah.
Goodness.
Yeah. Well, good morning, Tuck. It'll be okay. It's Friday, man. But yeah, Janet, double ouch. Yeah, man, 13%. Janet, E&D are just a little further north, guys up there. I think they're not too far from where you're at over there. If I remember correctly, she's in Ohio, but.
And I'll tell you though, getting the batteries, getting the whole solar, because we built ours ourselves, and
Right.
it was a growing thing. That's sort of what I'll talk about here in September. But it was, It's sort of like, oh, 4 panels. And I think I initially had I don't remember how many 12-volt marine batteries. Oh, this will be good. I think we were at 5 when we moved here full time. 5 marine batteries and 4 200-watt solar panels. And we quickly realized when we moved here, we didn't have enough.
Right.
We're now at 16 200-watt panels, and I've got 12 lithium ion phosphate 200 amp hour batteries.
Are those getting any cheaper, Terry?
Probably going to get more expensive, at least short term.
Yeah.
I think we spent $12,000 to $15,000 getting our setup completely done, for the most part, pretty close to that.
Right.
But the neighbors that have the 10 acres between us and the road, which is where the electric line's at, it cost them $5,000 just to get electric about 50 yards into their place, or something like that. We were going to be over 5 times the distance. So we were looking at $25,000 just to get electric to our property line. And
Bill, yikes, man. David's got a question, and I want to read it, but I want to hand that over to you, Terry. It says, I've been wondering for a while now, windmill power might be more efficient or stable. But his real question, which he lives in western Oklahoma, so they do get the wind, but how big of a battery bank would you recommend for 100 kilowatt usage on a daily basis?
I have, I'll put a link in the chat here in a second. I got to move it around here. Sort of a spreadsheet I've used, and it would at least give you an idea, because that's what I ended up doing after I realized I didn't have enough. I had to try to calculate. Okay, let me calculate what I really need instead of just guess what I need. And so I sort of rummaged around on the internet and found pieces here and there to sort of calculate batteries and storage and stuff like that. I've looked at windmill a little bit here, but for us, I got to get above the trees to get any kind of constant windmill, and the tower and guidelines. It's just not going to do it unless I just did it for video's sake. Because you see the whirligigs spin all the time, and you're like, well, that would get. You should think you'd get something, but
Although I've got one of them little decorative windmills out in the front yard, and there's days that thing is I think it's about to fly off the property. It's going so good, but but I couldn't rely on it. I know that. So
well, and that's where you could have it, because I could add it to the current system, and that's what I was thinking, is I could add it to what we already have and have a different charge controller to charge my batteries from the solar, and a different one for the wind. Okay. What I saw was, if you've got open spaces where that wind is sort of unobstructed coming down the plain, that's really where wind power really kicks in. Because I had someone suggest to me wind, because there's a lot of farmland around us, and so they're on flat open land, but we're not.
Right. So I say, well, I know, out in the area where David lives, out in western Oklahoma, there's, it's a little bit more wide open. There's those big commercial windmills everywhere. So,
right.
And of course, Janet, she said earlier, Southeast Iowa, and having been in Southeast Iowa, yeah, windmills might work nicely up there, Janet. Got the wind. Of course, it frees up in the wintertime, but that's maybe, I don't know. But anyway, well, that's
one thing I will, because I didn't know about that until after the fact. My lithium ion phosphate batteries, I can't charge if the batteries are below freezing. I had to keep them above freezing.
Oh wow, okay, that's important.
Yeah, it is important. So I had to heat them, because they're just in the shed. So I really wish I had a root cellar or something like that I could put them in.
Right. Janice, which David's like, welcome to western Oklahoma, my friend. I spent enough time out there. I know what that is. And Janice said windmill would work great on her 50 acres.
It probably would. The higher up you go, you get higher wind speeds. Like I said, I did a little bit of research just to see if it would be something good to add here. Because occasionally we still run the generators, though I did learn I was babying my batteries more than I think I needed to. I did just put into the chat, so it'll show up in a minute, a link on my website where I sort of talk about solar panels and what you need. And there's a spreadsheet you could put in what you need, and then how many batteries you might need. to store what you're needing.
Okay. I hope
So
that'll be helpful to guys like David who are thinking about thinking about going that direction. Like I said, I've considered it, and one of the things that held me up from making the phone call was of course they come out and do a roof inspection, when everything before companies will put them on, and at the time my roof was the back roof where I needed it that faces the right direction. I knew I was going to have to do work on the roof at some point, and so I just didn't want to mess with it. Well, good old insurance company moved that project to the top of the list here a couple of months ago, and so it's got a brand new roof sitting on the back of the house now. And so I've got one more roof which is on my garage that I want to resurface that roof or rebuild that roof, and then I'll have quite a bit of roof surface to have one installed on, and so may look into it because it's just me and the wife, and we're pretty. I'm the worst of the two of us about not turning the lights off, but the I. The bad time of year, our electric bill will get up, $300-400, but I've got to get my fireplace working so that I can use wood to kind of maybe help offset that in the winter. But it's so looking into that from a net metering, but then also wanting the battery bank because
Yeah,
uh,
definitely. Terry, can you see our private chat at the bottom here? I don't know if you're able to see.
I can.
Yeah, if you want to stick that link in there, I'll put it over in.
Okay, I tried putting it in the other chat and it didn't let me. So
yeah,
that's what I was saying. Maybe in our private chat, if you can do that, I'll stick that over there for David and anybody else who wants to take a look at it. And if they're curious, Janet, you might want to take a look at that.
Yeah, I know it's like I said, I mean I think it's y'all guys that are like Terry and Chris Thompson, Lorraine and them, where it's a vital integral part of day-to-day living, versus a lot of us others, where it's a good backup, it's a good thing. David said, be very careful having a company come out and install. We're going to say that is because on our Edmond house, we found out the company put a lien against our house. That was fun finding out when we got ready to sell the house. That's definitely, that would be that'd be a devil in the details kind of thing there. Sounds like, but yeah, they definitely want to be paying attention to that. Okay, there we go. You got
there.
that?
Did you get that?
Yeah, we got.
I see it.
Okay.
I'll see if I can copy it and stick it over there for everyone.
Okay, good deal. You got that, bro?
Yeah.
Okay, good deal. But I'll scroll.
No, that is just to let you know that is it's something I decided to try to do around because I'm in IT and I'd love to quit being a computer jockey all the time and just work around here or help other people. So it's like, you know what, we could help people put in solar. So that's sort of what it is. But most of that information I gave you is all you really need to put in solar panels. You'd have to tweak it to make it work for for wind. But how much batteries you need should be the same no matter what.
Okay, well that'll be good. So that'll be helpful. I may have to click on that myself just from a curiosity standpoint. It may be, I might be better off building my own system as well, and just but
And it does have a link to how our solar panels, and that picture they're set for winter, so the solar panel angles are a lot lower. But I have an on ground. I've just got 4x4s and a frame that tilts. That way I can I adjust them like twice a year for a summer angle and a winter angle.
Right. They call that azimuth. Is that what that is? Azimuth angle or something like that?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
Is the technical term back in my science days.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, didn't pay attention in that class, but anyway.
Oh, I did then, but it's been a while.
Right. Yeah. I joke around just real quick before we get out of here. I joke around all the time with people. It's like, there's so many classes I went to in high school that like algebra that I really just, I can't recall actually using, and I know there are people who do, so I'm not knocking on the ones who do, but not in my day-to-day life. But now geometry and physics and things like that, that was the stuff that, I use geometry and that kind of stuff more than I do anything, and even to some degree laws of physics, I mean, can this work? But it's like, I use more geometry than I do anything else. It's like I didn't take a lick of that in school. But anyway,
I was very surprised, bro, that I think it was was it Matthews or Morgan? I can't remember. He used to be my math teacher back in high school, and I got into some little bit of a math problem, and just reached out to him out of the blue years later. Never talked to him since I'd been in school to try to figure out an equation to help me mow yards and know how much to charge way back when I was in my 30s. And he was really happy to help. He was tickled that I reached out to help solve a math problem. So if anybody out there,
right.
you get stuck or something like that, reach out to some of your old teachers, man. They'll
There
help
you
you.
go. All right. Well, hey guys, looking at the clock, we have went way
Yep.
long today, and I have got to get out of here. It's that time, and Terry, we appreciate you jumping on with us, and great conversation. So you got to be our homestead highlight for the week right there. Something we're hoping to try to do. Something we're hoping to try to do on Fridays when we do this is to try to have at least one homesteader up on the panel to help kind of highlight their homestead or talk about what they do. And so we're pretty unplanned, but appreciate Terry jumping on with us this morning and hanging out and sharing knowledge and conversation. And I got quite a few over there in the comments saying thanks for the link and the info. So definitely.
I thought that. Hopefully it'll help them out.
Bro, can you copy that and we put it down in the description? I don't know if we can do that now or if that's something we'd have to do later. I don't know. But just so that it's still there in the description. Save it or anything, whatever. That way when we chop this up later, if we chop it up. But I don't know if we will this one. A lot of our other shows, we chop them up for use after. But live, this one pretty well stayed within a couple of topics. So it'll be pretty easy to use. But anyway, with your permission, of course. But anyway,
That's fine.
So anyway, appreciate you jumping on. Appreciate the chat. Everybody hanging out in there and asking questions and making comments. That was great. Appreciate it very much. Coffee for peace. All right. Yeah. I think it makes
around here unless I got coffee. That's all I'm saying.
Well, so I say I think that's a lot of people. If there's no coffee, I'll be having mine a little later. But anyway, it's I don't do it first thing in the morning. I probably should, but I don't. But anyway, appreciate, like I said, everybody hanging out. We're not gonna. I'd gotten so busy talking, I forgot to hit the weather report up there, so I don't even know if I'm gonna mess with it. Sorry, Jack. We'll catch you back up on Monday. But I figure Jack's working today. I may be wrong, or he ain't in this morning, so I figure he's working.
You're gonna make me late.
But anyway, guys, I got to get out of here. I do. It's just the way it is. I got to get out of here. It's that time of morning, and I went way late today. But anyway, for everybody, so thank you. I'm not going to go over events. Just know that Mid-America YouTube Meetup's coming up on 16th through the 18th. You can, if and like you follow, you can get information at MT Homestead at MT Homestead OK at Gmail, or you can find them out there on the old Facebook. So that's out there. And Scott said, whatever you do, smile and you shall never be blue. I like that, Scotty. Thank you. We'll just use that for the quote of the day. And anyway, so that is a wrap for today on the Farm to Table Show Morning Edition. Thanks for joining us as we strive towards building stronger communities for now and in the future. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to hit the like button. Give us the old thumbs up right there. Share it with your friends and subscribe to our channels on Facebook, YouTube, X, and Rumble. It is the best way to stay connected and help grow the conversation about food farming, and community. And so until next time, keep your roots deep and your vision growing. Good food starts with great people just like you. Remember, we are hashtag stronger together, hashtag think outside the big box store, shop local, and be a blessing to someone today, even if it's just a smile. And guys, y'all have a great weekend. Next weekend, we're gonna get into principle number one of the steps to self-reliance, which is becoming aware of the problem. So we're going to get in. I've got an exciting episode ready to hit it out straight out the gate on Monday, and it's stuff about supermarkets and food companies you may not know. So definitely going to be a hot episode, ready to go already. So we will see you all, Lord willing, on Monday morning, 6 a.m. And everybody have a great weekend. Go out, hopefully have a relaxing weekend or a productive weekend. I'm looking forward to some sunshine. So anyway, everybody, again, Terry, thank you, bro. Good seeing you in. Thanks for joining in. And everybody, we will see you all on the other side. And we're going to hand this over to Hank to get us on out of here.
No humans were harmed in the production of this podcast.